Okay, so we're first going to practice doing just a simple chain. So you're going to take your yarn and your hook, and you're going to make a little ribbon with your hook. I do that just by sticking my hook in and then like twisting it, and that gives me that little like ribbon. And then you're going to stick your hook into that loop, grab the yarn, and pull it through. Tighten it to form a little knot. Now you have the knot and a loop on your hook. And to do the chain, you're going to just keep pulling the yarn through the loop. So you're going to pull the yarn through the loop and just keep doing that. So pull yarn through loop, pull through, and with more practice it should hopefully get a little easier. And just one thing to notice, it's going to kind of look like a braid. Okay, so next is the single crochet. So when you do a single crochet, you're going to start off with your chain, however long it is, depending on the project. And notice that with the little braids, you can kind of count them. So here's one, here's the other one, 3, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, you can kind of count them. And then the knot, so 7 and then a knot. What you're going to do for a single crochet, you're going to skip that first loop, not the one on your hook, but just the one like below it. We're going to go into this second loop right here. So you're going to take your hook, and notice that there's kind of 2 strings here, right? There's an upper one and a lower one. You're going to stick your hook into the upper one and stick it through. So now there's 2 loops. All right, I just took that one from that stitch. And then you're going to take your yarn, pull it through one of that stitch right there. So now you have 2 loops. And then you're going to take the yarn again and then pull through both of those. And that is a single crochet. So let's finish this row. So now let's continue this row. Just a single crochet. You're going to stick your hook into that top yarn. Now you have 2. Grab the yarn, pull through the first one, and grab the yarn, pull through both of them. Stick your hook in, grab the yarn, and grab the yarn again. And you're going to continue this row until you get to the stitch before the knot. So you're going to put your last single crochet in the stitch, right? So let's do that. So here's that stitch, the last stitch, and here's the knot, right, that we did in the beginning. You're gonna do the same thing that we've been doing before. Do a single crochet. And yeah, that looks good. And remember before, I think when I was counting, right, we had 7 of those stitches. And you can kind of count them. So if you flip it to the top, right, we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then that 7th stitch, right, is the one that we skipped to make that little like spacer, I guess. So we're gonna have 6 total. And so when we continue our work, we're just gonna flip it over so that everything, you're still working from your right side. And we're gonna chain 1, right? That's what gives this thing like height without it being, like uneven. Now, so we did a chain 1, and you're going to put your hook into that very, very first stitch, right? Not this second one here, but this first one, where this kind of chain 1 is coming off of. You're gonna stick your hook in, you're gonna go through both of those loops, right? Remember there were like 2 of them? You're gonna go through both, and then you're gonna pull your yarn through. So now there's 2 loops on your hook, and pull through again. And so this is kind of how you're going to continue with a single crochet. And when you get to your end of your work, so how many did I do right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops. I'm going to do my last one, which is that one right there. Sorry if it's a little hard to see. So you're going to stick your hook in there. you're going to pull through, and again. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then this was that kind of like height boulder thing, right? And yeah, that's kind of how you do it. If you want to keep going, right, you're going to turn your work again, chain 1, and then you just kind of keep going. So yeah, that is a single crochet. Okay, so next is a half double crochet. Like a single crochet, you're going to start again with a chain. If you don't know how to do this, you should watch the beginning. You know, you can just make the chain however long you want or what your project says to do. And once you get to that length, you are going to skip the first 2 stitches, right? So the first one, the second one, we're not counting the one on our hook, that'll just be 0, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3. We're going to go into the 3rd stitch. So, wrap the yarn around your hook. So you're just going to put your hook under and wrap it. So now you have, you know, kind of 2 loops. And with keeping that yarn on your hook, you're going to go into that 3rd stitch, grab the yarn, pull it through. So now you kind of have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to do that again. You're going to grab the yarn and pull through all 3. So once again, that's one half double crochet. You're going to wrap the yarn around your hook, put it through the stitch, grab the yarn again, pull through one of them. Now you have 3. Grab the yarn again, pull through all of them. And that's how you're gonna just continue the rest of this chain. And once you get to the end, in case you're a little confused on how to, you know, like, oh, where do I end and stuff, you can kind of see this knot right here from when we did our little loop. And then you're just gonna do it in the last, or kind of like, you know, the first stitch after that knot, which is this one. So you're gonna wrap the yarn around your hook, stick it in, pull through, and then pull through all 3. And so that's going to be a half double crochet. And if you want to continue the work, you're going to flip it over. So that way your hook is on the right. You're going to chain 2. Then you're going to grab the yarn with your hook. You're going to put your hook into that first chain. Not this one, right? This is when we were doing our 2 chains up. Gonna do it in that first stitch right there. So this one. Stick your hook through, grab the yarn, and pull through all 3. And so that's gonna be how you kind of continue. I noticed that when we're working here, when you stick your hook through, you're gonna be putting it through both the yarns in that stitch, right? So yeah, that's how you're just going to continue. And yeah, that's a half double crochet. Okay, so now we're going to do a double crochet. We're going to start off with a chain. You can just kind of do a chain as long as you want. What you're going to do, you have 1, 2, 3, and you're going to go into this 4th one. So grab the yarn with your hook, stick it through that 4th stitch, pull through. Now you have 3 loops. Going to grab the yarn with your hook, pull through the first 2. Now you're left with 2 on the hook. Again, and just go through both of them. That's a double crochet. So grab the yarn, put it through that stitch, grab the yarn again, pull it through. Now you have 3 loops. Grab it, pull it through 2 of them, grab the yarn, pull it through 2 of them. Alright, so let's just finish this row real quick and I'll show you how to continue the work. And you're going to put your last stitch in that stitch that comes right before that knot. So there's the knot and then there's your last stitch. So to continue your work, you're going to flip it over. So that way you're still on the right side. You're going to take your hook and you're going to chain 3. Now you're going to wrap your yarn around hook again. You're going to do double crochets. You're going to do it in that first stitch right there. So nothing, not this one, right, because that's one of the chain 3. Going to put in that first stitch, go through both of those pieces of yarn and just kind of continue your double crochet as you normally would. And it's very important that you put it in that first stitch, otherwise your work might get a little lopsided. Alright, so right now it looks like I have that chain 3, then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and in that first row you see I have that chain 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So that looks equal, right? They both have that little chain 3 and the 4 stitches. It might look a little wonky, but it's equal. So yeah, that is a double crochet. Last thing I'm going to kind of show you is something I think is pretty useful, which is a magic circle, which is kind of used for like hats and stuff or coasters. And so you're going to take your hook and you're going to kind of make a little loop with it, right? Kind of like what you do when you do like those chains, right? So you have a little loop and kind of widen it. And you're going to stick your hook in the loop, grab the yarn, and pull it through. And this is a magic circle. All right, so now what we're gonna do with that magic circle, we're gonna just kind of stitch around it. I'll show you what I mean by that. You can do this with any stitch. I'm just gonna do it with a double crochet. So I'm gonna chain 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna wrap the yarn around my hook, do a double crochet. But you see, I'm gonna go inside the circle, go out of it, grab the yarn, pull that yarn in. All right, so now I can do my double crochet. So it's just kind of like doing normal stitches, except you're not, you know, rooting your stitches in like another stitch. You're just rooting it in this magic circle. All right, you're just putting it in. Yeah, and so once you get to, you know, an appropriate number of stitches, could be whatever pattern says, you know, pattern that you're following. I'll just kind of like, I don't know, do whatever. So I think I'll stop right here. So once you get to the number of stitches that you wanted, you're going to take this little tail piece. It's very important that you don't lose it in there. And you're going to pull it through. That'll tighten it. All right, so now you're left with this kind of not quite a circle, but we will make it a circle. Okay, so this might be a little difficult to see, but you had your 1, 2, 3. That was kind of like your chain up, and then this one is your first double crochet, right? And the stitch is right there. So you're going to take your hook, put it into that first stitch, grab the yarn. This is called a slip stitch. You're going to grab the yarn, pull it through both, and then now you have a magic circle. And to continue the magic circle, you're going to, in my case, you're going to chain 3. And you're going to just keep working around. So this is my chain 3, and then this is that first stitch. Right, this is the chain 3. I'm just going to continue working in the first stitch. And when you're making a circle, you will do 2 stitches in 1 stitch, if that makes sense, right? Because that way you're going to make your circle like bigger. Yes, this will, you know, kind of like increase the circumference of your circle, if that makes sense, right? But yeah, I think the main idea just to get here is how to do a magic circle. Usually a pattern will tell you kind of like, the pattern will tell you like how to how many increases you might have to do. So yeah.